Give us some examples of how things like robotics and artificial intelligence are shaping industries. And what are some interesting things that you've seen in your research?
Absolutely. So I'll give you examples within my own experience at Procter & Gamble, but then also outside. There's a ton of examples out there. Because I want to take something as mundane as, let's say, accounting and share how that is being disrupted as a result of artificial intelligence. So in most companies, there is this function, accounts receivables, that does 3 or 4 things, including, am I selling to a customer that's financially stable, right? The second thing is, how do I actually get the payments? The third thing is, when I do get a check or a cash or whatever it is, against which invoices do I offer that to? The fourth thing is, if I was expecting $100 and I only got 90, the remaining 10 become a dispute or a claim, and how do I resolve that? So let's take that last example. It's a very manual thing, right? So if I expected $100 out of you and you only gave me 90 because you said, hey, you short shipped me this particular product, or your sales guy said, I could take a 10% discount, you have a problem, because then this becomes a very manual he said, she said kind of an issue. And you quite literally in large companies have hundreds of people across the world that are trying to do this manually. Except that accounting is a data game. The data is there. And so at Procter & Gamble, we actually went out and found and developed an algorithm that could tell in real time, even as a claim came in from one of our customers, that in all probability this was, based on so much probability, this was valid or invalid, right? And then it gave you all of the data to back that up, right? And that's a great example of how a very traditional accounting job can be done dramatically differently. Let me give you one other example that shows you within the business space how technology can change the way things work. So let's take something like call centers, right? And I'm not talking about internal help desk. I'm talking about, you're selling shampoos and diapers, and consumers are calling you up with questions ranging from, hey, I live in, this street in Brooklyn, what's the nearest place where I can get, an XL-sized diaper for my 2-year-old. I use your shampoo, but I really want to find out if this particular chemical, dimethyl trioxide, was sustainably sourced, right? And these are very difficult questions for the poor call center agent to handle. Except that you can use technology. Now we have technology that we implemented. Even as the call is coming in from the phone or email also, you can transcribe. And rather than have the agent say, oh, can you spell that out? Or, can I get your address? A lot of that stuff is pre-filled so that the agent is engaging with you, not asking you questions like, is that boron with a E or boron with an O, right? And so that's one algorithm. The second algorithm is, once you know what the problem is, the question is, you can use technology to question the knowledge bases in your company to say, oh, the most likely answers to this are X, Y, or Z, right? That dramatically changes your experience, because now you say, oh, this company knows what they're doing. This company cares about me. This person on the phone is making helpful suggestions rather than, oh, let me get back to you within 24 hours. And maybe this person on the phone has resolved my question and is now giving me a coupon to try another product, and then I become a raving fan, right? And so these are examples of how business operations change. But business operations aren't alone. I talked about how, you have small claims courts in China and in Latvia that are now being done by robots, right? The Dubai Stock Exchange voting is being done on blockchain. And as is voting, which is being experimented in again, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. You have, the traditional examples in medicine where, you have the ability now to personalize medicine, because now, with technology becoming so powerful, in a few years, you're going to be able to process a human genome for less than 2 cents, right? which essentially tells you, you could take a blood sample, you could take any kind of human samples and kind of zoom in, quite literally in real time at next to nothing cost, to actually examine the root causes of what's happening, right? So those are the traditional legal and medical kind of areas. But then let's look at how blockchain can change developing economies, eliminate middlemen corruption. Because if you have farmers using blockchain technology in Kenya or in India who have real-time best information on the best price to sell their product, right? That changes the whole political dynamics and the middleman dynamics. And these are examples that are possible. As with most technology, the future is here. It's not evenly distributed. It's there in pockets. But that's our job as leaders to actually take that and make that available broadly.